This is a quick overview of what you get with regards to this service. So this is a demo. Your logo will be here. This is a report that was put together by the people who run the algorithm, and it's a lovely way to show you what you get because we'll be using the same platform. So you've got your table of contents here. As I've said, the results in this report come from our initial consultation session. So you don't have to sit and write a 50-page report. We are going to have a conversation, which is going to be around, I think, 45 to 60 minutes, maybe 30, because the more of them I do, the quicker it will get, and I'll get more savvy at pulling that data out of you. I then take the data, put it into the algorithm, and then it's going to populate it with everything that you see sort of coming here. And so for those of you who haven't met, my name is Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist and Futurist. And I just want to give you a sense of what's actually included. So we're looking here at the table of contents. So you've got the brand identity, brand archetype, brand narrative, visual identity. So that's a brand foundation. We then move on to market analysis. So the oldie but goodie, the SWOT analysis, competitor analysis, landing page analysis, SEO keywords, and this is all about you. So it's everything. This is just a demo, but it'll all be related to you. And then what they call the lighthouse. And then we've got the marketing and growth. So generated ICPs, marketing copy, content strategy, and marketing campaign ideas. So this is part of what I'm doing for the visibility success blueprint. So if you want a brand accelerator report, which is what we're looking at here, then it's part of that. As I said, this is a demo. Not everything has been populated. It is just to give you a tangible view. Now, I know some people have booked and they don't even know what they're getting. Like, yeah, I'm in. So I thought it'd be really nice for me to show you what you have signed up for. So here we go. So we've got the brand mission, vision, unique selling proposition, the USP. Now, with regards to this, what I love when I saw this, I was like, oh yes, the archetypes, because I'm an archetypal branding and archetypal profiling consultant, have been since 2005. So it's currently 2020. God, that's 20 years. So it's currently October 2025 if you're watching this in real time. And so what it does also with the questions that it's asking of you, it will then tell you what your brand archetype is. It tells you how you can use that in your positioning, the key strengths of that archetype, the opportunities that it brings to you, the persona that you might create. I just love it. It's fantastic. So, and the reason I'm doing this is I think many people are flying blind when it comes to marketing, branding, positioning, etc. And having a report like this is normally the domain of, the likes of your Apples and Nikes and all the rest of it. It's not necessarily something that small business owners, entrepreneurs or solopreneurs would even think of doing. So that's why I wanted to give people the opportunity. Now, when I say give people the opportunity, this is really, I'm focusing on those who are doing my workshops done for you service, because it's really wonderful to help people to create and design workshops and get them out into the world in a matter of weeks. I've had somebody recently, they'd been in their field for 20 years, thinking about doing a workshop, had never done it. And within 4-5 weeks, I think it was 5 weeks, we'd run their first workshop and they made money from that workshop. And then we ran another 5 workshops in the space of 3.5 months. So that's wonderful. And I did all the sales and marketing for that. And not everything is going to be a good fit for my demographic. I'm most certainly not going to be offering everything that people do to my list either. So I'm thinking that it will be a really fantastic idea is once you've designed your workshop, you actually have the branding, the marketing, the strategies, the SEO, etc. to support that. So that's what I'm doing this for. And I've opened it up for those first 10 places because I want to test the concept, get better at doing it myself, get quicker at using the system and the algorithms and knowing the right thing to ask to get the best result, hence making it a little bit more open at the moment. So that's the backstory to it. So let us continue. So we've got brand promise, brand personality. Now, this is about children's storybooks. So that's why it's talking about this. If you're a coach, hypnotherapist, consultant, trainer, lawyer, whatever it is, it will be all about you. So you've got the brand mission, the vision, the USP, as I said, the brand goals, Brand values, these are very important, because when you know what your values are, both from a human perspective and of course your work and what your service is, then you can live into those values and bring them to life, and your customers and clients who resonate with those values will see you far more clearly, because this is all about visibility, which is why I've called it the visibility success blueprint. So then what it does, once it's determined your archetype based on the questions we will go through, it then gives you a much bigger breakdown. It tells you, how does this archetype apply to your company? What can you actually do with this information? Because it's all very well having information, you've got to know what to do with it. You've got to be able to take action. So it gives you all of that information. It gives you a general definition of the archetype that it's chosen, key traits, typical goal of that particular archetype. So this one, the jester, is to bring joy to the world. Jester is actually one of my personal archetypes from the archetypal profiling point of view. Gives you some core strategies that you can use, and when you bring those into your business, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how it's like magic. It's like energetically, you could be invisible to someone. When you start living into this stuff and using it and applying it, it's like you switch on the light and suddenly people see you. So it also talks about the marketing niche for the jester, potential drawbacks, because all of the archetypes, if you've done any work around archetypes, you'll know they have a shadow side. So it's very important to know what that is as well. So it gives you the drawbacks here. And then it gives you some example brands, other organizations who share that archetype with you. And you will then be able to go, oh yeah, and see what resonates with you, see what doesn't. Ben and Jerry's, M&M's, Old Spice, that used to be the one for Christmas presents. Motley Fool, Doritos, right? And then we go on to the more business side. Well, that is business, but we go on to some of the stuff that people might be more traditionally familiar with. So you've got your brand positioning statement, how to articulate what you do. And again, this isn't coming from you. It is coming from you, but you haven't had to sit and write these 50 pages. It's coming from our initial strategy consultation. I then feed all of that data in, and then it takes that data plus any your website. We can do a competitor analysis as well, so some competitor websites, and then it takes all of that data and it prepares this report, and then I go in, of course, and tidy it up, make sure it's a-okay, and if there's anything else perhaps I wanted to add that we talked about, etc, etc. So that's that. So it then talks about the how and the why you're doing it, which if you've done my Fearless Public Speaking program, you will know that's the foundation of a good presentation as well. Now, because this one had fed in a website, it's then looking at your typography, it's looking at your text, it's looking at your color palette. That's not going to be relevant for everyone, but it may be if, let's say, you're designing some literature, posters, social media assets, then this will be really, really useful. Then we've got the good old SWOT analysis. I do love a SWOT analysis. I've been a management consultant since 2003, and I did a business studies degree at university. The SWOT analysis was central to much of that, in getting your head around what's going on. So you've got your strengths, weaknesses, your opportunities and your threats. And what's quite interesting, actually, is talking about the, some of the things to be wary of with regards to AI, which I think is fantastic, because of course part of this is driven by AI to crunch the numbers and do the analysis. And then we've got a competitor analysis. So this will come from you, in terms of, you might say, well, I consider some of my competitors to be XYZ, or people who are doing things in my industry. That gets fed in as well. So it's taken that data, it then pulls out some of the key competitors, does a SWOT analysis on them as well. So you can learn from that, and you can take some and say, okay, right, we see there's some of the threats. What are they doing? What are they not doing? And you can be then spotting the gaps for yourself as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then we're on page 22 or 52. I'm not going to go through all the pages. And as I said, it's not fully populated. Some of it at the blank is just the ipsum lorem blah 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 text, but this one gives you actionable insights as well. So what are you going to do with this information? How can you use it? So for example, develop a targeted content marketing strategy, address busy parents, the need for simplified, meaningful bedtime routines, highlight the benefits of imagination, reading, and the specific lessons Oscar Stories offers. So you could just take that one bullet point And you could create, let's say if you're into lead magnets, you could create a lead magnet. If you're somebody who's more on the video side of things, you could actually create a video around this. If you're somebody who's more on the Pinterest, you could create a pin around it. If you're an Instagram person, you could do a quick IG story. If you're LinkedIn, you could do an eye-catching poster using the keywords and the SEO from this and write a little piece. You could do the same with Facebook, for example, and that's just using that one bullet point. So you've got all of the actionable things that you can do here. And then if you've given it some data about websites to look at, it's going to do an analysis of, okay, this was your landing page, overall assessment. What are the recommendations? Again, what can you do? So this one, drastically clean up the footer. The long list of links looks like an SEO spam and cheapens the otherwise premium feel of the site. Group these into 1 or 2 links. Great advice. Very, very practical stuff. It's then going to do a bit of a SWOT analysis as well on that landing page. So branding and design, value proposition, your social proof, product clarity, does the weaknesses as well. So interesting. Well, I find it interesting. And the reason I think it's important to know these things about your business, about your service, with the advent of AI, anyone can sound like an expert. I've shared a website with my e-newsletter list. You can create an entire fully functioning website in less than 10 minutes. All I did was feed it a couple of lines of data. I gave it a URL. I sat back and I watched it populate an entire website complete with tabs in less than 10 minutes. So anybody now can create great sounding copy, create a website, create stunning videos and images. It's busy, it's noisy out there. And I'm just going to speak for myself. I certainly noticed the initial, I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling like a bit out of it, even though I've been in this field for the last 25 years. I started in October 2000. I was actually feeling like a bit of the old dinosaur relic and like, my God, people are just flying past, sounding amazing, looking amazing. And I feel like I'm getting lost in the noise. And I've spoken to other people who have said that. So that's why I say sometimes it feels like you're flying blind with this and just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. And I did do a bit of that as well, just to go, okay, what are people resonating with? But actually, I think it's probably better. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing that. A bit of wanton experimentation, as we used to call it in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And when you've got a strategy behind you and you can just kind of go bullet point by bullet point, do the, and you're not going to do all of the bullets. You're not going to do everything in the report. But not having this means that you're just, I can hear, what's it? Who's that? Kate Bush. It's a mystery. A shot in the dark. That was a line of one of the songs. I think the song was, well, the song was called It's a Mystery. But you could, you can continue to do a shot in the dark and, throw stuff at the wall and hope for the best and, struggle with articulating who you are and what you do. And I know the people, there's a thing in Hollywood called the triple threat, where let's say somebody can sing, they can dance, they can act. Nowadays it's the quadruple, what's the octuplets or whatever it is if you've got 8. But there are a few people, who was it? J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez was one of the first people that they called a triple threat, because she was a backup dancer, then she was a singer, then she was an actress, now she's got a cosmetics line, she's probably got other stuff as well. When you are that, let's call it multi-hyphenate, I think is one of the terms people use nowadays, it can be really challenging. And again, I'm speaking from somebody who's been there, seen it, done it, still working on that sometimes. It can be really challenging to articulate what you do, because it can feel like you're putting yourself in a box. So, and then we've got insights about your pricing, your value proposition, target segments. If you haven't been clear on, my gosh, okay, who am I targeting? Where am I going to find my people? Where can I find people who resonate with what I do? Competitive advantages. And then we go into SEO. So it's going to look at some keywords based on your website. It's going to give you some kind of look at the backlinks that you've got, etc. Show you some of the keywords that are in your area. Now, again, I said these aren't going to resonate, because probably not many of you are in storybooks, children's storybooks, but it's going to give you some keywords, so you will find those keywords useful. I'm sure you will. It's going to look at the competition rating and all of that sort of stuff. If you know about SEO, you'll know what all of this data is about. And then it's going to Oh, that's interesting. So the Lighthouse performance is kind of looking at some of the stats of your site as well. Oh gosh, my blog will not do well on this one. My website will, transformationstm.com, but marilyndevonish.com. Oh, that's slow. There's some bloated stuff on there over the years, but it's this again, this is really great data because people are very, very impatient a lot of the time. And if something doesn't load straight away, boom, they're off to the next thing. So it's really useful for you to have all of this data. And again, it goes on here, your core performance metrics, timing metrics. This is fantastic. And then it's kind of looking at your ideal customer profile, your ICP. Because coming back to that, you know, faffing about in the dark and throwing things at the wall, it's a really good idea to know who your demographic is. So it's gonna, this is gold. So your core pain points, because these are the things that you talk about in your marketing. These are the things you talk about on social media, and you're not just talking about them, you're talking about how you can solve those things as well. What are their goals? What are their aspirations? Because when you appeal to that, you are really pressing the buttons and people go, yeah, I want it. And don't say you can do it if you can't do it. You know, that's not what I'm saying. This isn't for shysters. This is for people who are what I call seasoned. You know what you're doing. You know your stuff. You're just getting lost in the noise, or you want a next level. So their decision-making style, oh my God, this is like NLP gold now. We're getting into the psychographics. What are they interested in? What are their values, their personality traits, lifestyle? Because when you, oh my God, this data is like absolute gold. Their preferred communication channels. So let's just say, for example, if their social media is Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest in this particular demographic, there's no point putting all of your stuff on LinkedIn. Don't get me wrong, put some stuff on LinkedIn and put some stuff on YouTube, but if that's not where they are, you might go, well, I don't do Pinterest. Well, maybe you want to buckle up and learn it. Do you know what I mean? Now, hopefully it's going to align with where you are. Now, I'm on Facebook, I am on Instagram. I have got a Pinterest account, I haven't looked at it for years. So if this was my report, I would most certainly be at least going to log into Pinterest, get a sense of how it's changed over the years, and start putting a few pins together, for example. And then again, this is absolute gold. Based on all of that data, it then comes up with some marketing copy for you. So it gives you some headlines. This is just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Ooh, and it tells you why that particular headline. This headline is ultra specific by addressing busy parents, and is useful by promising both simplified routine and magical experiences. Who doesn't want a bit of magic for their kids? Yeah, so it gives you a series of headlines, call to action. So if you've got let's say you've got an offer, you've got a lead magnet, this in this instance, they're going to have storybooks, they might have audio books and audio recordings, apps, etc. This tells you what to put on the CTA button that is going to make somebody want to press that button and say yeah. And they give you power words as well: unlock, imagination, now, personalize, adventure, claim. Honestly, this is just amazing. And then we've got our taglines here as well. So you're going to have your headline, you've got your tagline, and again, it tells you why it has chosen this particular tagline. And the thing that I love about AI is not that it's writing stuff for me, it's writing stuff in a different way. And I'm going to say 7, 8 times out of 10, I read what it says and I go, I wouldn't say that. However, it gives me an idea, and then I put it in my own words, but it gives me ideas I wouldn't necessarily always have thought of. And there are times, particularly when I'm testing out, so you know, every once in a while, like, let me test you. I give it stuff that I know inside out, back to front, and you know, upside down, and I see what it comes up with. And there are times I'm like, nope, I prefer my answers. And then there are times I'm like, yeah, that's a better way of saying it, better way of saying it. So you've got all your taglines here. Then you've got your landing page copy. So it's going to give you your pain point, your agitation, and your solution, your USP emphasis, the benefits that you're going to speak to people with that will resonate with your demographic. And then it's going to give you some ad copy. So for those of you who are running ads, again, this is absolute gold. Oh my God. And it gives you several variations as well. And then you've got content strategy as well. Wow. So it gives you your campaign theme, your hero content ideas. My God, this is absolutely amazing. Wow, wow, wow. hygiene content. Oh my God. And then towards the end of this report, it's got a bit of gobbledygook in it because I said we haven't fully populated everything. It gives you some marketing campaign ideas. When I studied marketing, I was a Kotler. When I did my degree, Kotler was the man of the day, the great big blue book, if those of you were around in this era. But Ada was one of those things that was very widely used in the first organizations that I worked in. Your awareness campaigns, it's just got the heading now here, but it hasn't populated all the text. Interest campaigns, desire campaigns, action, oh my God. And then we get to the end. So yeah, so where it says Oscar stories, like the national lottery or the global lottery, it could be you. Your logo will be there. And yeah, that's it. So that's a run through of what some of you have already signed up for. Just like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Boom, I'm in. I thank you for that. Yeah, so that's it. That is it. And it's just amazing. So I'm really excited for those of you who have booked to get your hands on this, because my God. And as I said, there's a lot of data, but as you can see, it's broken down and you can go just to the sections. You might say, look, my SEO is good, but I didn't know much about my business archetype, and I haven't been that good at the pain points, the agitation, or really putting together my benefits. Because many people, when you're really into your stuff, you talk about features and what it actually does, but it's the benefits bit that is sometimes missing. So if you want to have a look at a little bit more detail about this and what the offer was, etc., it's a bit of a mouthful, but it's here on the screen in front of you. It's transformationstm.exposure.co/visibility success blueprint. And transformations is TRANCE F for Freddie FORMATIONS. TM is in trademark, so www.transformation.exposure.co/visibility success blueprint. Ooh, that was a whistle stop tour. I thought it would take 5 minutes. The report was much longer than I had anticipated, and much better than I had anticipated, because I'm looking at it in real time with you to see what's in it, so I get my first reaction rather than yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. Well, I think it's amazing. There's one more place at the time that I'm putting this video together, which is £67. Now, I'm not charging for my time, because included in that, we are going to do a one-to-one Zoom session. So we're going to do a strategy consultancy call. And this is where I'm going to get the data from you that I then feed into the algorithms and start to build the picture and the profile, etc. So I'm not charging anything for that. And that's going to be 45 to 60 minutes. So normally that would be £150. Well, if I was just doing a coaching session, I haven't set up that. The reason I haven't put pricing together for this is I'm not looking at it as a standalone. As I said, it's going to be included as the workshops done for you, so that people go out into the world and can actually market what they create. And I would charge more for a consultancy session, but I'm just talking about if I was doing straightforward, let's say, Huna session, that's what it would be. So I'm not charging for my time, and I'm not charging what it costs to, I'm charging a little fraction of what it costs to run this through this particular algorithm and pull the report together. So I had 5 places at £67, there's one left, and then I put another 5 places up, which is, it's 87. So if you happen to look, not on that page that you're looking at there, the exposure, visibility, etc., there's a link there where you can go through to the booking page. But what I did for people on my list is I put a blog together just explaining this concept and why I'm doing it. But the link is on there. So if there are places still available, then yeah, feel free to book one, and you'll get a copy of this, well, your report with your data in it as part of that package. But as I said, it's virtually free because it would cost way more for me to both have that consultation with you, populate this, and then kind of prepare the report. That's, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. And again, for those of you who look at pricing isn't just about the hour, it's about what is delivered. And I think this is massive value. So yeah. So yeah, if you want to get in at 67, there's one place left, and whatever the price may be, if there's a few left, and I change the pricing because I might do, because I think it's fabulous value. It's almost giving it away. Alrighty, I shall leave it there. It's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com. So that's my main website. TRANCE, F for Freddie, FORMATIONS. So transformationstm.com. That's my legacy website. I built that. Well, I didn't build it. I had it built for me in 2001. So it's as old as it looks. So it's more like a storehouse of everything. And if you want to know what's happening at the moment, then click the red What's New button, and that will, a panel will slide out and you'll see information. So what, I haven't added it yet because I really only put this out to my list last night. Say last night, it was pretty late. So almost like technically almost this morning, so it's only been out for a few hours. I haven't added it yet to the Watch New panel, but I update it every few weeks. So I'll add something about this to that panel, and you can click straight through, read the supporting blog, and go to the booking page. Right, and if you know someone in business who could benefit from one of these, it may not be something that you particularly want or need or find useful. Can't imagine why. I'm joking. But if you know someone who would benefit from this, then please, please, please feel free to send the information with, to them, because I really would love to help a few people get more clarity on this stuff that, number one, people aren't necessarily thinking about in this much detail, or even if you are, it would take you months probably to go into this level of detail and do even just doing the competitor analysis could take you several weeks. So yeah, I want a few people to at least experience it before it moves into the main program. All right, I shall leave it there. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist, and Futurist from transformationstm.com. Over and out. And I really look forward to working with those of you who have booked one of your places. And thank you so much for booking. Catch you later.